Hey guys, welcome back. Don't know if it's out there right now, but I wanted to just talk quickly about something that happened here during the week. We have an '05 F-150 here. The truck is from Florida. The owner has a place down in Florida where he keeps the truck, and he brought it up here. This is the same gentleman that we had fixed the computer failure in the Grand Cherokee about a week ago, and he liked our work, so he came back with the F-150 complaining about a brake light that was stuck on the dash warning light. And if anybody's out there, if you guys are typing in, I am not seeing anything. So if anybody's out there, can you? There you, Mario, nice. It's working now. I didn't see it last time. I wanted to apologize to everybody if you guys were there that I wasn't responding. Hey, what's going on? What bug? I what do you call? We had this thing come in for the brake light being stuck on, so uh, we ended up finding a failing cluster in it, which is nothing uncommon, as I'm sure Keith knows. The instrument cluster had to be sent out for repair. Um, yeah, Keith. I don't know, man. Nobody's out there. I uh, I got the cluster diagnosed, but in the process, we had a little problem. I'm going to show you. When we went to pull the panel off of the cluster, that's what happened. And I just pulled on this thing, and everything shattered, as you can see. So yeah, I did take the screws out of the bottom. So no, I didn't break that. This thing just literally fell apart in my hands when I went to pull it out. First time that's happened to me actually on one of these trucks. I've done a lot of them, and everything is just, as you can see, this is shot. So it's just brittle. It just falls apart. So we ended up having to order one used because they don't make them anymore. But I explained to the customer what happened, and he's all right with it. You know, it's I'm eating it. It's no big deal. It's part of it. You know, part of the business, I guess. But nice, right? Yeah. So the cluster's fixed. He had a couple of gauges that were failing in it, and a brake light staying on. So that's fixed. Uh, yeah, exactly. It's got brittle and it cracked. I mean, like I said, this thing stays in Florida, so I think the sun baked it pretty good and made it brittle. So when he brought it up here, it just fell apart. I need a bigger. Oh, yeah, I know. I need a lot bigger heater. I actually have one, Keith. I have a. I'm gonna need you to come down though and climb up there and see if you get it going for me. Okay, I got that thing. That's an oil, that's a used, what do you call, waste oil heater. Can't get it to work. Gave up, so it's all right. It's only, it's not that cold in here. It's probably like 20 today. It's pretty cool. So, yeah, so we've been jammed. I haven't had a chance to do any videos or anything for you guys. I've been pretty busy. As you can see, the shop is a wreck. Everything's a mess in here. Got parts and junk all over the place. I just got done with a friend of mine's Transit Connect for his business. Um, and that was about it. So I came in today just to get that thing buttoned up. Somebody bottomed out, broke the radiator and condenser on it. Nah, it's not that bad, Mario. It's 20 degrees is good. But it's better than being out in the rain and snow, right? Keith knows a little bit about that. So I'm trying to get some, I wanted to try to get some videos done this week, but I really had no time. I had like I said, I had this thing come in yesterday, and it's a business truck for an exterminator, so yeah. Oh man, come on, Gerald. That's bad, dude. 80 degrees. I'm gonna come out by you. Oh, nice. You're good too, Mario. 60. Oh man. So what are you guys up to? Anything good today? Peace 1740 hell. Oh man. I'm telling you, Gerald, I want to get I want to get out of this state, man. I want to get out. So yeah. Day off. What day off? Keith, what are they talking about? What's a day off? You guys got the life, man. 80 degrees and a day off. Yeah, Texas is definitely a place that I would love to move to. A doctor's appointment, huh? Shinedown man, you guys really do have the life. What the hell? I don't get out anywhere, man. I don't remember the last time I went out to dinner. Yeah, no kidding. Dad is right. This is nah, man. It's been nuts. The last week or two has been pretty crazy with stuff. We've been getting a lot of headache jobs, but we got through them. I mean, just I got one here that I'm sure Keith could guess right off the top of his head what's wrong with this thing. You know, I'm sure some of you guys can. So we're waiting for Monday to put this back together. I was actually going to start putting it back together today, man, but I had to get that transit set up and done. Swimming on the beach. Come on, man. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, when you own your own business, you don't have a day off, man. It's the truth. I'm home with my wife on a Sunday, and I'm online researching things, and I'm trying to learn things, and yeah, you don't get a day off, man. You're always trying to stay cut above so you can so you can beat the clock, so to speak. Hey, Andrew. Yeah, so it's just been nuts, man. Hey, look, guys, the Mustang's still here. We're still waiting for a carburetor to come back. It's 3 weeks. Hey, man, what's going on? Yeah, it's crazy though. You guys don't, you don't get a break, man, when you own a business. Yeah, it's not that easy though, man. Set time. I mean, I know what you're saying, but uh, bills got to get paid and rent's got to get. You know what I mean? It's hard. Customers want their vehicles back. Our biggest thing lately has been parts more than anything else. Battling with parts, getting the wrong stuff. I mean, I try not to deal with aftermarket stuff too much, but for certain things it's fine when they send the stuff in a timely manner. But it's hard, man. Sometimes I wish I was doing more what you were doing, Keith. Just go out, diagnose the car, and not have to deal with the rest of it. Not have to deal with the other effects of it, the customer and the other stuff. It's not easy, but it's some parts of what you do I think are better in that respect. You know what I mean? It's kind of a pain in the neck having the whole thing on your back all the time. So I don't know. But this place is a freaking disaster, man. I really wanted to clean it up. I'm not doing it today though. I'm tired and I've had enough for today. Like I said, that transit had to go out. They need the truck for Monday. So yeah, parts quality. I know. I mean, everybody jokes about dormant stuff, and I mean, it's really not a joke when you think about it, because I mean, it's a lot of companies, it's not just them, but you get this stuff that's not made well, it just doesn't last. Doesn't last. And I mean, I've had that with a lot of stuff. I've had that with Cardone parts, the reman stuff. Let me see, Mario, what did you say when I flat rated jobs? Yeah, man. I know you got to. Flat rate is hard, man. I mean, when you think about it, though, when you own the business, it's almost like you're working flat rate all the time, even though you know what I mean. Even though you're not under the gun with like a service manager or advisor trying to drive you crazy like they did in the dealers when I was there. You still feel like you're under the gun because the phone rings. We had I'll give you an example. We had a customer bring a vehicle in the other night. It was a Focus. And the problem with the car was the horn would just start blasting on its own, she was saying. So we went to check it. I thought maybe the horn pad was getting stuck because it's cold, something like that. What ended up happening was she had an aftermarket alarm that was installed in the vehicle, I guess some years ago, and it actually wasn't the horn circuit. It was the alarm that was tripping and causing the horn to blow. You know what I mean? So she dropped it off. And my partner was actually looking at it, and I don't think she was out of here about 20 minutes, and the phone rang, and it was her, and she's like, "Oh, did you fix it yet?" And I was like, "No, we're checking it now. You know what I mean? Give me a few minutes or whatever." And I mean, we ended up staying late because she dropped it. She dropped the car at like 4 o'clock, and we ended up staying here till like 6 o'clock, I guess it was, or whatever. To by the time we buttoned it up, and she came back to pick it up because she needed the car. So you can't set hours. You can't. It's so hard to set anything, man, on this kind of work. You know. So yeah, that's exactly, Gerald. That's exactly what I tell everybody. Take that stuff out, throw it in the garbage. Um, I'm not a fan of that stuff at all. I'm not a fan of the aftermarket. I'm not a fan of the. I'm not a fan of alarms in general. I don't like alarms. I don't see any need for them either, especially these days. I mean, I can understand if you're driving an '85 Chevy or something, you know, you want to put an alarm in it. Still don't like it, but I'd understand why. But on these new vehicles, if a thief could get past the factory security, an aftermarket alarm is a joke. You know what I mean? There's no need for it. You can easily get past that. Yeah, I know, man. You're right what you're saying. I mean, it doesn't justify it, but at the same time, if I would have just left, you know, and made her wait for the next day, I mean, the internet's a big place, man. People are going to go out and start talking bad about you. You know what I mean? And you know they're going to say things. You know, the guy, you know, didn't have my car done. He left me stranded. You know, you're always going to be the bad guy, man. So I really try my best to. I really try my best to make every customer happy. It doesn't work out a lot of times. You know, some of you guys might have saw the videos I did on the Sable. We ended up fixing that car. I couldn't do a video. My partner ended up doing it. I was too busy. Uh, we did end up fixing not the ABS. He didn't want that fixed, but he did end up fixing the broken inner tie rod and the ball joint. I mean, the car was unsafe to drive. You know, when he came down here, he was, you know, wasn't, I don't know, you know, he wasn't happy. Even though, you know what I mean, we did the right thing for him. He wasn't thrilled because the ABS wasn't fixed. But uh, no, yeah, I know, man. You're right. No, it's right. No good deed goes unpunished is right. You know, but we try to do our best, man. I mean, it's very hard to satisfy every customer. Um, I always look at it. I always try to look at it from the other perspective. Like if I was the guy that was coming in, you know what I mean? And I always think about it like there, you know, a lot of people who go to a shop get screwed, and that's the truth, especially around where I am. You know, either it's lack of knowledge or they just don't care or whatever. I don't know. I mean, it could be different situations, but a customer that's been burned is going to come into my place, and I want to make an example that we're not all guys that are hacks. You know what I mean? That we do things the right way in the shop. So you know, I try to make a good example, but again, you still can't make everybody happy. I mean, I'll tell you a funny one. One of the videos I did going back a while ago was on a Saturn Ion with a TCM problem. It ended up being a TCM problem that had an internal ground, the main ground going to the TCM failed internally for the case. Uh, yeah, they do, man. They give us a bad name all around. You know what I mean? And this Saturn's a good example of that. The Saturn had $1,000 or $1,200 worth of parts thrown into it, and it wasn't fixed. And it had all kinds of crazy things going on that nobody could figure out for whatever reason. And I found it relatively quick. I mean, I don't think I was working on the car for a half hour before I figured out what was wrong with it. Uh, like I said, the TCM lost the case ground internally, so it was driving the car crazy pretty much. You know, all kinds of nutty things with the steering, and I forget a bunch of things. It's in the video. Uh, so the first thing that lady said to me when she came in the shop though was, you know, I spent over $1,200 on this thing. I've been to 3 places and nobody could fix it. One of the things that was wrong with it, as a matter of fact, that sticks out was that it had an evap code, a circuit code for I think for the vent or something, and they put a vent valve in it or whatever. That was the first thing I checked on the car, and it ended up being a broken wire to the vent valve. I mean, it was just stupid, you know what I mean? Really stupid things. I can't see how they didn't see that. But later, Drew. Um, but that was a prime example because when she came in, she told me she spent this money 3 different places. They couldn't fix it right. They kept throwing parts in it, and she says, "I just want you to know right off the bat, I don't trust you." And I was like, wow. I says, well, I said, look, I said, miss, I said, if you don't trust me, you're in the wrong place. I says, you know what I mean? I don't want to work on it if you don't trust me. You know, and I explained to her, I said, there's going to be a diagnostic charge on the vehicle if you leave it. And as long as you know, I'll find it, but you have to, you know, you're going to have to pay me if you don't want to fix whatever it is. And she said, what if you don't find it? I says, well, then you don't have to pay me. So, you know, she says, yeah. She goes, really? I says, yeah. So I says, I'm not going to charge you if I can't find it. So with that, and I told her, I said, if I start throwing parts in the car, which I'm not going to do, and they don't fix it, I wouldn't charge you either. I said, it's just not the way to do things. So she ended up leaving the car. We fixed it. She says, "Oh, you got a customer for life. Thank you so much. I can't believe you saved me. All this stuff." And mind you, I didn't put a TCM in this car. I ran a new case ground to it, which fixed it. Um, so I didn't see any need to make her spend the money on a TCM especially after what she was through. And she's never come back. That was over a year ago. She's never come back, not once for an oil change, not for a service, nothing. So, even though I mean, she was happy. She didn't give me any problems, but there was no return on it for, what I'm saying, return business or anything like that. So it happens. I mean, but I still feel better that I did the right thing. You know what I mean? Well, whatever, man. It is what it is. But we try to do the right thing. Like I said, for every customer, it's not always easy, especially when you're dealing with certain things like they want to get their own parts. They don't want to, they don't want to pay for diagnostic time on the car. They want to, they want to tell you what's wrong with it. It's the same old story, but I mean, it's not easy. See, that's the truth, man. Exactly. That's absolutely the truth. What you just said. They could get it cheaper somewhere else, but they want to know for sure that the job is done right, and that's a big thing. I mean, our prices are not high at all, but there's places down here that'll do jobs. Like we had one guy that wanted struts done on a car, and he was buying the struts himself online, and I forget what it came out to do them, but it wasn't anything crazy. But the guy, he priced it somewhere else, and they'll do all 4 struts for him. They'll install the 4 struts for $50. So I says, go there, man. I said, I'm not doing it for $50, That's true, Mario. It's true. I mean, it's possible. I mean, but I've seen these situations before where you help somebody out and you do the right thing for them, and then they don't come back. They tell you, oh, I'm coming to you from now on, and then a couple years later they end up showing up at the door with a car that's a wreck, and they've been all over the place again, and yeah, it is trust, man. I know it is. I mean. But people, like I said, man, my experience around where I live, a lot of these people will come to you knowing that you fixed the car right, and then they disappear and they end up going to the place that's going to do it the cheapest or try to do it the cheapest, and they end up in the same cycle all over again. You know what I mean? The internet's a bad thing for that too, because technical questions, I don't know. What do you got, man? I could try. I'm sure there's somebody in the chat there that will be happy to help too. But yeah, man, it's not easy to it's not easy to please everybody. You can't please everybody. I think the funny thing is, like I said, with the internet, it's a double-edged sword, because you have the ability to go online and you could look for parts, and the part may not be a quality part or even a part that's going to work, but it's $100 cheaper than what you're quoting them, and that's all they see. They see the price. They don't see the quality of the part you're buying, the name brand or anything like that, and the warranty behind it. There's wheel bearings you could buy nowadays, hub assemblies or wheel bearings or whatever you could buy that'll cost you like $30-40, and there's no warranty on them. They tell you right at the parts store, you know what I mean? We'll sell them to you, but there's no warranty. And then the customer would want you to install that and warranty it. So, like a cheap throttle body. Yes, man. Like a cheap throttle body. I guess you saw that video. Yeah, that sucked, man. That lady was happy though. She was real happy that we got it sorted out, and her kid could actually drive the car now. 2000 Saturn SW2 1.9, negative fuel trims, minus 50. I'm having a hard time here to hang on. Negative fuel trims, minus 50% short, minus 19 long. O2 dead rich. Did you check the okay, so the O2 is telling you that it's rich, and it is rich because it's taking fuel away. Booster. Did you try checking the trying to think. I'm trying to remember on that system. Does that thing have a fuel pressure regulator that you can get to? Very possible that you have fuel leaking. I'm not sure on that. I forget on that car actually. Anybody out there know off the top of their heads? I don't remember. You could have an injector that's leaking. You could have a fuel. Obviously you have something going on there where the car is rich. If the O2 is pegged high, and the fuel trims are negative like that, that thing is rich. It's dead rich. So you're gonna have to troubleshoot why. Old thumbs do. Where's Keith when you need him? He would know that off the top of his head. I just don't remember I don't remember the setup on that car. You'd have to see, or I mean, high fuel pressure. You know what I mean? You have to check and see what's going on. You have to start diagnosing that fuel system and seeing why the thing is rich. The O2, obviously, if it's like I said, if it's pegged rich, it's seeing, you know what I'm saying? It's seeing a rich mixture. If it's at a volt or whatever, I mean, 0.9 a volt, whatever, the thing is seeing excessive fuel in the system, and it's, the computer's trying to compensate, it's trying to pull fuel out. Coolant temperature's good. Wait a minute, this thing is like fuel pressure reads in spec. Okay, right, evap. Evap purge is not leaking. Okay. Does this thing have a regulator, a fuel pressure regulator on the rail? Hey, Manuel. Right. Okay. So it is. It's part of it. Right. So it's a returnless system on there. I honestly, I mean, you have to see. Like Mario made a good suggestion. What is it doing when you're accelerating? Uh, what's that, Gerald? Yeah, it's very hard to diagnose something when you don't have it in front of you. I mean, you can, I mean, you're trying to think off the top of your head with stuff that, I mean, there's obvious things. Like I said, I mean, you could have an injector, you know what I mean? Injectors that'll, yeah, an injector that's leaking. Uh, I'm just thinking of the things that, right off the top. I mean, uh, but again, it is hard to, yeah, the fuel, I mean, dude, they're definitely getting more and more intricate as time is going on. I mean, uh, those systems are old technology now. You know what I mean, compared to the GDI stuff. You know what I mean? Uh, Gets harder and harder. Right. That's the thing. That's the thing I was trying to get at before. I keep getting sidetracked with things. Like I said, if check and make sure that the O2 is actually reading correctly. I mean, it is. If it's like I said, if it's rich, the O2 is going to be pegged rich. You know what I mean? If it's not lying to you, you know what I mean? It's kind of hard for me to explain some of the stuff. Trying to get it across is difficult for me. Like I said, I'm not a teacher, man. I'm just trying to help you guys out if I can. That's a map on that car. That's a map. Like I said, man, I don't have it in front of me. I don't remember the system, to be honest. I haven't worked on one of those cars in a long time. I actually worked for Saturn. That was my first job. That was back in like the early '90s, man. I was just coming up at that point and didn't know a whole lot. And I don't remember. I don't see those cars very often nowadays. The Saturn that I did the video on was actually an Ion. That's a whole different car with a whole different set of problems, obviously. You can, I was gonna. I don't know what kind of equipment you're working with either, man. If you know, scan data. Obviously, you got to see if the like Mario said is the is the O2 uh, or who said it, if the O2 is actually reading correctly, you know what I mean? If it's pegged rich, like if it's stuck rich, you know what I mean? You have to make sure that it's obviously going to affect fuel trims. I wish sometimes I wish some of these guys were closer, man. They'd ask questions because I'd like to take a look at the car, try to help them out with it. But I had a guy call me not too long ago, I think a week or two ago. He saw a video on YouTube and he wanted to pick my brain. And I mean, I just couldn't, you know what I mean? I can't over the phone. I just can't do that kind of stuff. It's hard, man. It's very hard, especially in the middle of the day. You know, it was like nowhere near me that he could bring the car down or anything like that, and he had no scan tool, he had no equipment to check anything, and you know, it just makes it hard. But yeah. Right, Mario, exactly right. If they're both rich, thank you. Right. If they're both reading rich, most likely it's not lying. That's right. Yeah, let us know. I mean, let us know what you find, Phil. You know what I mean? But obviously, you have to make sure that it's not lying. That's the first thing. If it isn't, if that thing is actually rich, then you have to figure out what's going on there, and you know what's going on in that fuel system that's making it rich. Like I said, an injector that could be leaking. That'll absolutely, you know, it could be dribbling. It could make the you know, the fuel trims go, you know, go negative. You know what I mean? It's going to make it rich. Um, yeah, Gerald, no worries. But those are, you know, those are things to look for. I mean, uh, we had one. I remember we had one on an expedition going back some time ago that the guy was complaining it was the same thing. I mean, it was rich and this and that, and it stunk. And he would start it up, and he would get like he would get this tremendous smell of like of fuel, and it ended up being an injector that was just wide open. It was broke. So when we pulled the fuel rail up, you know, just to, you know, we knew the injector was bad at that point. We took the fuel rail up, and I just wanted to see how bad it was, like if it was just dripping, like, you know, all the time or whatever. And I had my buddy turn the key on with the rail lifted up, and dude, that thing just shot fuel out. I was like, oh my god. So you know, it was definitely a definitely an injector problem. If that thing has a, if you know that if that Saturn has a see, again, I'm not familiar. I don't remember the system. If it has a Schrader valve that you can put a fuel gauge on it, actually, you said you check fuel pressure, right? So it probably has a gauge. You probably could put a gauge on there. You could turn the key on and prime it, and see if it holds pressure. Meaning, if you turn if you turn it on, the key, you cycle the key, the pump's gonna come on. It's gonna build pressure. If it builds pressure up and holds, that's what it's supposed to do. If it doesn't hold and it just drops off, you have a leak in that fuel system. You know, most likely going to be in the injectors. I mean, that's what I would, you know what I mean? That's what I would recommend trying. It doesn't bleed down. Alrighty. I do injector balance. Right. See what Mario said. What Mario said makes sense. See what it does to with a light snap throttle. See if it reacts. The drivability on this thing must be horrendous, huh? I got a smoking problem, guys. I need to stop. Sucks. I'm exhausted. Sorry, this thing keeps popping up even though you guys aren't typing, and then like it's not popping up when you are typing. Right. Right. Restriction in the intake. Yeah, I mean, that's what I'm saying. See, there's a lot of possibilities, man, to start looking at, and it's it's just hard for me, man, to try to come up with stuff like that off the top of my head. There's a lot of possibilities, and it's hard without having the car. I'd love to help, you know, anybody I could out there, man, but it's not always that cut and dry either, you know. It's hot in there. So this yeah, so I think I'm gonna go home and I'm gonna try to relax because I actually feel like crap. I've been beat up the last couple of days, tired, and The I think the cold weather is starting to get to me a little bit. I keep forgetting that thing's a map, man. I just read what you said there. I keep forgetting it's a map sensor car. Yeah, it's hot in the office, man. I got the heat up in there. It's like blasting hot. It's like 90 degrees in the office, so I'm probably gonna get pneumonia by the end of the day. I keep walking in and out. I shut the heat off out here about an hour ago, I guess. Oh. But yeah, like I said, I think I'm gonna head out. I'm gonna get some rest. I wanted to touch base with you guys, man, and hey, I don't know if I'm sure some of you guys caught Brandon Steckler's class the other night, or if maybe some of you guys were actually there. With I don't know with at the actual class live with Brandon on the pressure transducers. That was a great class, man. I can't wait till part 2 comes out for that one. We're coming up dead here, Mario, with this thing, huh? Timing is good too. I'm trying to see what you guys are saying, man. I'm having trouble with the phone here trying to read this. The cat's not clogged. Timing good too. Where's Keith when you need him? Come on, Keith. What's wrong with this thing? Yeah, that class was great, wasn't it, man? And he said that was part 1. So now he's got me like in suspense, waiting for part 2, man, to come out. There's a lot of interesting stuff on there, but he started to some of the stuff on there towards the end. I really want to get a little more into and try to, I really didn't catch some of that stuff, but he was going through it quick. They were running out of time, but hopefully part 2 covers it. Hey Phil, you have good vacuum to this map sensor? That sound not to sound like a dumb question, but I mean, does it have good vacuum there? Nah, Phil, it's cool, man. Like I said, that's what we're all trying to do is network together, man, and you know, help each other out. I mean, that's really why I started this channel. Mario started his channel. You know what I mean? There's so many, like, we just want to, network with each other and help each other out. That's what it's all about, man. It's hard. It's hard to come up with, we could come up with some ideas, but it's hard to diagnose something like, especially like that, without having it in front of you. But check and make sure you have good vacuum to that map. He's right. The weather sucks here, man. It's actually not as cold today as it's been, but it's cold enough. I haven't felt the best the last couple of days, so the weather's kind of like making it worse. Everything hurts. I'm kind of like I don't know if I'm coming down with something or what. Everybody's sick that I'm talking to around here. Everybody's got a flu or a cold or some shit. So, oh, excuse me. Sorry about that. Can you say that on YouTube? Yeah. So, good vacuum. No, man, it's like 20 degrees inside the shop, but inside the office here it's like 80 degrees or 90 degrees. So, yeah, I keep the heat on full blast in here because when customers come in and they're freezing, if they're waiting or something for a few minutes, they enjoy the heat, and I don't mind it myself after coming in and out of there, but it's probably not the best thing in the world coming in and out of extreme temperatures all the time. But oh, Wyatt's in here? I'm sorry, Wyatt, hello. Yeah, so, yeah, Mario, you got to come up here, man. You'll enjoy this weather. It's a nice change for you. You'll probably have a good time. Have a snowball fight or something. But, yeah, like I said, I just wanted to touch base. I haven't had any chance this week to do any videos, man. I've just been running around too much, and to turn you guys know what it's like, to turn the camera on and start trying to film something when the phone's ringing and customers are walking in. It just hasn't been a good week for anything like that. So I wanted to touch base, say hello to everybody. Um, oh yeah, I'm definitely the bug, man, and yeah, I'm definitely the bug. Yeah, Phil. I don't know if you missed it. I was just talking about that F-150 before when I pulled the panel, the instrument cluster bezel off. As soon as I touched it, it just shattered in my hand. So it's all brittle. So I had to order one of those for the customer. But it happens to the best of us, right? I'm glad. I'm glad, man. That's what we're here for. Like I said, we do these videos for everybody. It's we do it to share with each other the stuff we find. I mean, other techs will find it useful. You run across something, you know what I mean. You could go on the guy's channel and hey, look at that. You know what I mean. It helps, man. Uh, and the fact that we're all very friendly with each other and able to communicate. Uh, exactly. It's all about sharing, man. I mean, we could all communicate with each other through Facebook or phone numbers or whatever. You know what I mean? We always have the ability to -5, -10. Oof. Oh, you're in Scotland? Damn. I always wanted to go there. I wanted to see Nessie or something, Um, yeah, man, but yeah, that's what it's about. We got to, you know what I mean? The automotive industry's always been very closed. Uh, nah, the cameras all work in my shop, man. Damn, you noticed the cameras? Yeah, they all work in the shop. We have cameras inside the office, outside in the shop area, and we have cameras outside the building to monitor the cars and anybody that may come in here, at night or whatever. We don't have any problems down here, man. We have a night security. We have the trucking company next door, that's all monitoring everything as well. So yeah, it wouldn't be smart to try to break into the shop. That would be a big, big mistake. Um, yeah, the internet does see everything, doesn't it, man? Yeah, but yeah, we've had some, we catch some cool stuff down here, man. We got a family of skunks that lives by here. We have a big family of raccoons that lives outside the shop. And actually, the one night I was here till like 11:30 with my buddy. We're messing around with some stuff in his truck, and the raccoons decided to walk in and say hello. And I swear to God, I don't think I've ever seen one that big in my life, man. The one, it must have been a male, like the adult male. The thing had to be like near 40 pounds. It was ridiculous. He was like almost as big as my pit bull. Who? What? Poster on? You guys are killing me. What are you talking about? What's naked on the wall? What? Oh, wait a minute. You're talking about that thing over there? This was given to us. That's an old Snap-on. I don't even know, picture or whatever. Yeah. Yeah, I hope that's the one. I don't see any. There's nothing else, is there? No. You guys are like picking up everything in here. This place is a disaster. Like I said, man, it's a wreck. I need to clean this office. I need to clean we need to clean outside in the shop area because this week has just been crazy. Just one thing after another. I haven't had any time, but we got to get everything cleaned up. Hopefully by sometime next week. I want to try to make sure we go over everything too to make it nice and clean for March, for some of the guys that are going to come down and stuff. So we'll see how that pans out, and make sure everything's cool. But guys, I'm gonna head out. Like I said, I just wanted to stop in, say hello, and touch base with some of you guys. But I'm exhausted, and I should have been out of here about 12:30 today. It's like 3:15 already. But if anybody out there wants to contact me or whatever, you guys know how to get in touch. So I'm always here. Thanks again, man. Thanks for you guys watching, and Mario, thanks for everything, man. You're a hell of a guy, dude. And I hope that I could get to meet up with you soon. If we're definitely planning, my wife and I are definitely planning for Tarrytown next year for the big event. I really want to get more involved with the training around here. I just need to plan it in advance. It's hard for me to do things on a whim, but we'll try to get there for next year for sure. And hopefully you guys are up here and we'll get to meet up and spend some time and mess around with some scope stuff or whatever. But thanks again, guys, for watching and everything, and joining me all the time. And I really appreciate the support. You guys are awesome, and I'll talk to you soon.